They're wonderful moments. Wonderful.
Now, one moment about the other guy, about Louis B. Mayer, and when
Louis B. Mayer was a man who was a very difficult man. He was completely void of a sense of humor. Completely void of a sense of humor. And Mr. Mayer loved to have people, well, not people, me, come to his office whenever he was lonely. He wanted somebody to talk to from time to time. He sat in this huge office where I once made a joke about the fact that he entered a piano and it took a half hour to get to his desk because the piano, there was no room for it, and they put it under the carpet and you had to walk up over the top of the piano and down the other side to get to his desk. But I was in sailor suits at Metro for the first 3 years. I thought I was really in the Navy for a while, you know. And I was Peck's bad boy, I have to admit that. I was always doing pranks and having fun and all that stuff. And as a ruse, I think he would send for me in order to talk to me, have somebody to talk to. But he'd use the fact that the producer would complain and say, he's not paying enough attention to what we're doing and stuff, but it was never a serious problem. And he had when you went to his office, he had a secretary named Ida Koverman, who looked like Rocky Marciano at his height. She was built like that. And they had a door that you went through, and then there was a vacuum with a second door. And she didn't like me, and I was always afraid that she would never open that second door. Because when you went in there, the first door closed, and you're in darkness. It was only about that wide. It was no trouble for me, because I was only about that thin, I'd fit in there. And I'd go in and sit down and hold my hat in my lap, and he'd come from behind. He had a desk, a white Formica desk, looked like Howard Hughes' cockpit. And he'd sit behind there, and I knew he was short because his legs would stick out. He couldn't touch the floor under the desk. And that made me smile all the time. And he would walk up and down in front of me, and any subject that came to his mind, he'd turn and wheel on me, and he said to me once, he turned and stared at me and said, "Does Katharine Hepburn have to sit on the grandstand with that goddamn communist who ran with Wallace? Henry, does he have to sit on that goddamn communist, Henry Wallace?" I said, "I don't know, maybe she likes him." I mean, what do you say to a guy who gives you a silly question like that? He said, "I didn't ask you that." So you keep quiet again. And anyway, he got me up there about, in a period of 5 years, I bet I was there 50 times for some particular reason. And then one time he had a string of wonderful, wonderful racehorses, famous racehorses. And he also had horses that he would ride on Sunday afternoons, his own horses. And one Sunday, something happened that spooked the horse, and he had a fractured pelvic bone, and he was in a cast from here to his knees, and that must have been difficult to have it all the way down to your knees. And he was out for like 9 months. He was out of the studio. I mean, we felt badly about it, but we had a musical group that consisted of Gene Kelly, Van Johnson, June Allison, Judy Garland, myself, and 5 or 6 other people. And we were sitting around commiserating about the fact that it would take him a long time to heal, because he had fallen off the horse. And I said, no, he didn't. He fell off Ginny Sims. Because he was courting this girl named Ginny Sims, you see, fellas and girls. And I make it in the lunch hour. I said, nah, he fell off Ginny Sims. Well, what do I have to tell you? About 3 days later, the page comes down. Sir, you won it again. Oh, boy. And that day, Mr. Koverman said, oh, is it you again? I said, I'm terribly sorry, but I'm very big with the boss, and you don't mind if I'm up here. She said, oh, get in the doorway. And anyway, he was in tears. He was practically in tears. He said to me, I love you. He said, like my son. He said, I never had a son. I thought he was going to give me the studio. I figured I figured I'm going to get the studio, you know. He said to me, I hear you tell funny stories. I said, oh, I don't know, Mr. Mayer. I said, you know, we sit around at lunch at the commissary, we talk. He said, no. No. One funny story that I understand you told about me and Miss Sims. Now, did I say 3 days? It wasn't. It was 3 weeks later. And I said, the only thing I could say, I said, Mr. Mayor, I could not apologize any deeply than I feel right now. And I'm as sorry as I feel right now. I said it was stupid, it was a bad joke, and it just kind of slipped out, and I'm sorry, and please forgive me. And I get kicked out of the studio. That's it. That's, I say, had no humor, right? That's what I was trying to tell you. I mean, it was really a kind of a half-and-half situation where he really didn't want me around anymore, and I didn't want to be there anyway. And if I had stayed there, I would never have made From Here to Eternity, because that came after that. Then I was free. Otherwise, at MGM, they had a policy never to lend an actor or an actress to any other studio. And I would never have had a chance to do the picture. So when he fell off Ginny Sims, it would have made my whole career.